Hello everyone, welcome here. In this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the Skillshare homepage Hero section in Brick's WordPress page builder. I have here a blank Brick's screen and we're going to quickly get right into it. So before we start building, let's first take a look at the actual website and see what exactly is going on right here. So first of all, right off the bat, you can see that this is a very unique homepage, a very unique hero section. It's not something you see every day. We have an overlay header, first of all, and a large hero section. Is much bigger than the rest of the content. The rest of the content here is just about 1200 pixels wide, whereas the hero section is 1920 and it is very large. Then switching over to the responsive mode, we can see over here that the hero here is we have a grid layout and we have some images on the edge, and you can see when I'm reducing the screen, you can see that the images is perfectly responsive. The images at the edge are reducing as the screen size reduces, whereas the center is just exactly the same size. So that is something to take note of before we get on building. And then at the breakpoint of 900, I think, or 899, at the 899 pixel breakpoint, it switches over to the tablet mode where we have it's reduced to just 4 images. At the top, the overlay header is gone and it is now a standard header layout. And yeah, the main block containing the H1 and other text information, they are now reduced to just a standard, a more typical hero layout on the tablet. And it goes on like that, perfectly responsive all the way to the mobile. Even when the button is almost squished, it's kind of rolls over like this. So let us attempt to build this in Bricks Builder. Let's get right into it. Let's just start by quickly adding a section element, pretty standard. And then if you observe on a big screen, the section has a little bit of padding here. The bigger the screen gets, the bigger the apparent padding, but it's not really padding, it's just a blank space there because the container inside it has a maximum width of 1920. Let's just go ahead and give these classes first of all before we start. And I'm going to use SK for Skillshare Hero section. So Skillshare Hero, this will be my grid for the hero section. Now I want this grid container to be 1920 pixels wide. It should have a max width of 1920 and the width of 100%. Okay, and obviously the section should be 100 VH, 100 viewport width. Okay, that's that. Okay, now we do not have any padding at the top or the bottom here, so I'm just going to quickly remove the default padding that Bricks adds for me over here. There is no padding on the left either, so you know it's just all side link, no padding anywhere. Now okay, so there are a few ways you can approach this grid, but I'm just going to break them out into a more digestible fashion. So we have one div here, and then we have another div right here, and then one more here. So that forms 3 fractional units for my grid elements. But if you remember, this center div, the center box right here, remains the same size as you're resizing. So it is more static. And if we just use the inspect to check that out, we can see exactly what size it is. And let me just give you a hint. I've checked it out. It's 560. So I'm just going to go to my grid here and ensure that this is display of grid template columns 1FR 560 pixels and 1FR. All right, let's give this a gap of here we have a gap of 8 pixels. So, but I'm just going to be using my var space XL XS extra small space. We can't really see anything yet, but that's by design. Let's just add some blocks. All right, so I added 3 blocks into my container so we can visualize the 3 boxes on this screen. Okay, now following everything we have there, let me give my section a background so that we can at least see some changes going on here. Let me give this a background of base, and I want to give you a height. Oh no, that should be the container actually. The container should have a height of 90 rem. I put this in the height instead of width. Oh, sorry about that. So the container should have a max width of 1920, but it should have a height of 90 rem, following our design right there. Let's quickly save this. Now, what else do we have here? I have 2 images inside each edge. So I would just like to add 2 blocks first of all. We can achieve the same layout with just images, but for future proofing purposes, I would rather put the images inside an image wrapper. So I have 2 blocks inside here. Let me just call this the media wrapper. All right, that should be the same here, so I can delete this and duplicate this. Now I want this to have a flex grow of 1, so 2 of them fill up the entire space there. Now I'll come to this edge div and impute a space of excess, just like I put earlier on. So you can see we have exact same space here as over here. All right, now let me impute my images. Let's come over here, image, mercy, sorry, image, inserts. Okay, now let's quickly copy this image. Just so I can have something to work with. All right, we're just going to give this a maximum height of 450. So it's going to have a maximum height of 450, 45 rem. Let's get in and fix that. Let's go over to content. We'll make this object fit cover, and it's going to have a HTML tag of figure tag, and yeah, it should be lazy load. What else? Okay, that's good. Now I think I'm going to delete this and just duplicate what we have over here. So let me see how it goes. Okay, everything is all wonky. Let's get into the image and give this a width of 100% and give it also a height of 100%. So that should fix everything. Okay, so now you can see the importance of having classes on your elements. I only applied my changes in one item and it affected everything over there. Okay, so I think I'm done with all the settings here. Now you know what I'm going to do. I'll just delete this third block we have over here, duplicate this and quickly drag this over to this spot. Now come here and interchange these images. Now quickly save that I think we can focus on the center div right now. Okay, so we have 180 over here and 180 over here. We know that the entire section has a height of 900. So that means this place is about 540. 540. Okay, so now that we know that, let's come over here to the center div. I think I will call it for center div. Let me just name it center div. Okay, make this flex display of flex vertical column, add 3 divs or 3 blocks rather. Add 3 blocks right here. Let's put in our gap, and the gap we've been putting in is space XS. Right, let's put this over here too. Now we have our gap. So yeah, these 2 blocks here and here also is a Flexbox container that contains 2 images. So let's also make this a display of flex, add 2 blocks inside. Now, but even though this is flex, this is horizontal, and then let's also add our gap of S extra small gap on that. Now we impute our image. Okay. Okay, let's now attach our BEM classes. Top div image, please. So top div image, and the block should be the image wrapper. All right, so top div image wrapper. Thank you very much. All right, so now let's get back to the image. Make this object fit cover, HTML tag of figure, lazy load, that's good, and give this width of 100% and a height of 100%. And now we set the image wrapper to have a maximum height of 180 pixels, that is 18 rem, just like we figured out. Okay, this isn't covering because I put in max height instead of height. Okay, so that works now. Now, since I have my BEM classes covered in this place, I'm just going to delete this block and duplicate this image, this div right here. And then let's give this a proper name. Okay, so image wrapper, this, then we have this right here. Quickly going to delete this block, duplicate this, since it's practically the same thing. Send the center to this place. Now what else do we have here? This div that we have at the center, this block that we have at the center here, is going to be the main content, where we have the h1 and the rest of the other elements inside. So can we just call it so this is going to be the body of the hero. So Skillshare hero body, right? So Skillshare hero body. and it has a background of white. So background of our white. I'm going to give this a flex grow of 1, so it occupies that entire space right there. Looking sharp, looking sharp. What else do we have here? Some elements inside it. It also has padding. Okay, so let me give this a padding of M, opposites linked, and padding of S at the top. Oh, sorry, that's Excel. All right. What else do we have here? We have heading, text, a block, or should I say a div? A div, no, a block right here, another block right here, form element, and text. So heading, text, block, block, form, text. All right, let's go. Rapid fire, guys. Heading, text, block, block, form, and text. And I think this should be rich text right here. Okay, good, 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 good. We are making progress, guys. Now let's bend this out before we move, before we go too far. Okay, so now quickly copy this content. All right, so come to the typography center. The text color should be the Skillshare base color. And what else do we have here? That's 7 days free of Skillshare. Okay, let's increase that in. 7 days free of Skillshare. We should have a p tag. Okay, first of all, let's come to the block and center everything. Add our space of XS to everything. Oh, sorry, this should be row gap instead. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to give this, let's go to typography, font weight, and give it a little bit of weight. All right, looking good. Now we have 3 buttons inside this block right here. 3 buttons. Going to insert 3 buttons right here now. Let's style one first and then duplicate. Okay. So what do we have here? Background is transparent. Transparent background, but it has a border, one on all sides. Solid black, very tiny radius on all sides. What else is here? We have an icon and the text, and then the typography is also bold. So let's give that font weight of 700. Facebook, it has an icon, so onto some brands. Facebook, and the icon is on the left. All right, looking good so far. I think I'd like to give this some color. Duplicates. Let's call it social wrapper. Now flex direction, and let's give it some gap. Okay, I want all of them to be in the center. Sorry, not here. Great. Now what we have here, Google and then Apple. So this should be Google. I have to change the name. And then this should be Apple. Okay, icon. I don't know, maybe I should make you red or something. And then you should be Apple. And of course it's black. Awesome. So we're breezing through that. The form is easy enough. Delete the name field, delete the message field, come over to the button. The button here says start learning today. All right, 100%, and it has a border, the same radius of excess. I think that's about it. No, that's not it. Background color should be Skillshare's action color. Typography is bold. All right, is that looking good? Start learning today. So this says email address. So let's get into the form field. It should say email address. All right, now let's copy this legal text. Okay, I think we have this here to be bold. This should have a very small size, so I'm going to give it typography of XS or S. Okay, maybe X is okay. What else is missing here? Save, please, guys. Always remember to save your work. Now, this should be a H1 heading. However, H1 is too big for me for what I need. So even though I like the H1 tag, I'm going to give it a size of the H3 just so it can match the Skillshare design we have right here. Okay, what else is missing? This should be blue, right? This should be blue. A little bit knowledge of HTML would help here. So a knowledge of HTML and CSS would help here. There is an element in Bricks Builder that can help you with something like this. I think it's called multi-heading or something like that. So, but I tend to stay away from such elements and just do something like this manually. So go over here to custom CSS, have roots. Okay, I want to target the span that is inside the root. So I have my span right here, and I'm going to give it a color of the action color. Oh no, it should be accents. I'm going to give it my accent color. Okay. Okay, no idea why it is not working. Oh, sorry, American English spells color without the U. So there. Okay, before I move on with this all right here, there's something we're noticing. There's something we're noticing. I need to tighten up this space for it to match the original design, right? So let's do just that. So let me just divide by some space so that I can have a tighter grip on everywhere I have this space. So okay, looking good. We have the spaces all tightened up. Before I move forward, let's check this out on the front end and see exactly what we've been working with since. All right. This is looking good, looking pretty good, looking pretty good. We don't need to test responsiveness because we already know it's not going to be responsive. We've not done anything in that regard. Only thing missing from this section right now is the header and this little or here. Okay, so let's get to work on that. Have my div right here. Let's first insert text, basic text elements, and write our all. Awesome. Okay, so now this one is just a little bit tricky. Just a little bit tricky. Um, just watch and see how I did that. Now, I don't think this all has any relevance to maybe screen readers or whatever, so it may not be a div. It can just be a span, something, or it could still be in a div. And I'll come to this, the wrapper, the wrapper right here, and make it stretch. Ensure that the content stretches. I'm going to come over here and go to typography, center align. Awesome, awesome. Now let's add the pseudo elements. Let's add the pseudo elements. So this is very easy, adding the pseudo elements. Let me zoom in so it will be easier for you to see what is going on. Just go over to pseudo classes right here and come to pseudo before. Give this content quotation with space in between and come over to layout, and I need to give this a width of 100%. Don't worry, all will become clear very soon. Give this a width of 100%, set a background just so I can see exactly what I'm working with right here. Layout, positioning, position absolute. So go here, position relative, and in the pseudo before, set this position absolute. Okay, good. Now position absolute, top of 50%, height of 1. Awesome. Now we can see something. So let's give this also a left of 0. Great. So left of 0 means the pseudo element starts directly at the left where that starts. Now, if you observe closely, this line, this straight line right here, is on top of the letter of the word or, and I don't really want that to happen. So normally we would just come over to z index and set it to -1, for instance, and that should fix it, right? but that does not work because it goes way under the canvas. So the way to fix that is just to come over here to the actual element, go away from the pseudo state, come over to the actual element, enter your CSS, and just give it an isolation of isolates. Okay. Okay, so awesome. Isolation isolates, and that should fix our Z index issues. Now, let's go back to the pseudo before and set this to -1 and see if it works. Let me change the color so it will be more visible, the changes we're making. And let me just give this a height, a better height, so we can see exactly what we're doing. So as you can see, the line is right on top of the OR. So now let's try giving it a Z index and see if that fixed anything. Awesome. So if you can see this here, I'm not sure it's going to be very visible, but right now the line is directly under the OR, and that is exactly what we want. So this has a Z index of -1. That's perfect. Now let me change this back to 1 and change it back to have a background of black. So before I move forward, let me explain exactly what I'm trying to achieve. So just try to imagine you have a line, just this straight line at the top of the canvas. Okay, then you have a dot, a round dot right here, right on top of it, and that dot is white, for instance. That dot gives you the effect we have here. Do you understand? It gives you the effect you have here of space around the O. So imagine this single straight line all the way here, and then you have a dot right here that cuts off right at the center, the line, and then you have the O right on top of the dot. That is exactly what I'm trying to achieve. So I already have a pseudo before element right now. I want to use another pseudo element that I'll use to place on top of this line that cuts it off. Okay, so let's try that now. I'm going to come over here and add a pseudo after, give this um, right here, and yeah, I'm going to give it a background of white because I want it to be white and cut it off there. Height of 100%, obviously, and remember, everything in the size we're setting is relative to this basic text, and the basic text is as wide as this. So if it has a height of 100%, it's going to be as high as this. So never go beyond this border we have right here. So I give it a height of 100%, and I'm going to give it a width of 20%. Why not 20%? Okay, now um now I give it a width of 20%. Layout, need to also make this position absolute. You can see that it already appears right there. So it is position absolute, and I'm going to make it start at 40%. So if it starts at the 40% mark, which is 40% of this, and this pseudo element I drew right now started at the 40% mark and ends at the 60% mark. It means it's exactly at the center, always and forever, no matter how small the screen gets. This pseudo element right here is always going to be 40% of the entire line. I don't know if you understand exactly what I'm trying to achieve right now. So, but there's a problem. It covers up the OR. So how do we solve it last time? A simple z-index solution. Simple z-index solution of -1, and it goes right under the OR. And you can see, ladies and gentlemen, how I was able to solve, I was able to make this effect. Of course, there are different approaches that one can be able to use. This is just one um, I decided to go with. So let me know what you think, and let's move forward with the tutorial. Please let me see. Okay, before we go too far, let's look at the front end and see exactly what's going on um, before we move forward. All right, looking very, very sharp. Let's compare this to this. I think, guys, this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay, something is wrong. Our images here, these four images are exactly the same. Let's just switch it up so that we can have the same thing going on here. So expect this is not 100% important, but yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'm done. Let's save. Okay, so let's polish a few things that are quite different from the original design and here, just so that we can, just for fun. This button right here has hover style with some background settings, so we can easily do that. Also, this padding here is much more than what we have going on right here. So let's fix up the padding first. Remember, always on the class. Always on the class, go over to the padding and set this to link opposite sides. And this should be L or even XL, which can have an extra large padding. All right, I think that is much better. Now let's go over to the button. Oh, let's go over to the buttons. There is no class here. Crazy. Okay, so I quickly added the class to it. Now let me just quickly put the hover style. Now we have hover here, and we're just going to give it a background of shade. No, the shade is too much. Of shade light or shade ultra light. Yeah, that should be better. All right, so what this means now is whenever I hover over any of the buttons, it has a little shade there. So that's good. That's easy enough. All right, we've made good progress. Now it's time for where things get interesting. Where things get interesting, we are handling the responsiveness of this page right now. So let's go back and inspect just how responsive this website actually is. You can see from the onset, we have this is the section background showing here. Anything greater than 1920 pixels, the section background starts showing as a dark background right here. We've already handled that. We make sure that our container has a maximum width of 1920. So let's start going lesser than that now and observe what happens. This remains exactly the same width, and then we have this objects right here shrinking. Object fit cover has already handled that. So the edge container keeps shrinking, and at 899, that's less than 900 pixels. At less than 900 pixels, we have that this transforms into a standard tablet layout, and the header becomes a standard header, no longer overlay, and then we have four images right here. Now, and also this section, the main body, yes, we call it the body of Skillshare Hero Body. The Skillshare Hero Body comes down and becomes full width, and then it becomes dark background. Everything inside it inverts color. And what else? We have these four images right here. Now, when I inspected the site, I was quite surprised, and not really surprised in any way. This is how a lot of people are going to handle theirs as well. What they did was they hid all of the images on the hero here. They hid all the images, every single one of them, display none at this breakpoint. And then they now added a separate div containing four of these images. And so when I was trying to review the site, I thought there had to be a better way to do this, where you do not just litter the DOM with several display none going on here and there. Just have the same images that functioned. After all, they're exactly the same. They just decided to repeat themselves. And what we're following try principles, do not repeat yourself. So I wanted to use the exact same images I had on the desktop hero to show in the mobile and the tablet mode. So let's see how exactly I'm going to solve that using what we have here. So first of all, let's collapse all this so I can see exactly what is going on. Now, the approach I used here is to, so first off, let's switch over to our tablet breakpoints. First of all, we know that these two guys are going to go, right? So of course, display none at this breakpoint and below. All right, so let's go over here, display none. So everything that has that class goes away. Now, I want the center div to fill up all of the space there. So I think we can do that with the container and instead make three separate columns to just be one FR. All right, good. We're making progress. Next thing I did, right now, notice we're working only in the center div. Everything else is hidden. Next thing I did was to come to the main block here, the body. The body. You know what? I should just call this hero body. So I came to the hero body and made it come last visually using order of one. So now it comes last in this place. So we do not want to wrap these two, this top image and and top image into one container because that would just change the entire DOM. The approach I took here was to make this a display flex and then give it a flex direction of row so that everything can wrap right there. And my idea was to manipulate this row direction in such a way that this becomes 100% width and goes right under, and everything else here remains on the same line. So how do we do that? First of all, give it a flex row of 1 and give it a flex basis, or should I just say a width of 40 um 40%. Now I wanted to give this also a width of flex grow of 1. So it already has flex grow of 1 and a width of 100%. And then you come over here and give this what wrap. If this was meant to take up 40% and this was meant to take up 40%, it would make it end right about here where this cursor is ending. So, but the flex grow ensures that both of them fills up the entire space. The tricky thing about Flexbox is that when if I had made it exactly 50%, 50%, I did not account for all of the gaps I have right here, and that could lead to breakages. So I just put 40% and then the flex grow so that the flex grow calculates, subtracts all of the gaps that are there and just fills up the entire space. Do you understand? So that is why I used 40% right there. And then as for the wrap just make sure that, okay, since this has grown or to take up 100% here, the next item, which is the hero body, just goes directly under. And this was the approach I used to get this kind of layout with exactly the same DOM structure. I did not do too much display hidden. The only thing I hid in this site is just the edge div with a single class. I hid it. Now let's go to the hero body right here now and make sure that it is exactly the same with what we have going on right here. All right, so this has a dark background. So let's just quickly change this to a dark background, of course, on this breakpoint alone. Not alone, on this breakpoint and below. Now, this has white typography and this as well, white. What else do we have here? This is white. This is, what color is this? White background and dark text. Okay, so background is white. That fixes everything. Oh, no border. So no border. None. Good. What else do we have here? The text should be white. Okay, so text here should be white. Now let's target the pseudo elements. The pseudo after should be this, and the pseudo before should be white. Awesome. What else do we have here? This has a maximum width. It has a maximum width of about 600 pixels, I think, the last time I checked. So let's just give it, of course, we're working with the rems here. So let's give it 60 rem. Did that do it? Does this look like what we have here? Okay, let's say 65 rem. We can just come here and center this over here. Okay, so save, please. So let's view this on the front end. Refresh and refreshed. F12 to inspect, and we're going down now. Awesome, awesome. You can see at this breakpoint, it switches over to this layout. And as we're going down, oh, what do we have here? On a different breakpoint, we have this breakout right here. So let's quickly go solve it. I think that should just be a wrapping issue. Come over to this images right here. What's going on here? Oh, okay, on mobile it is setting to wrap, so let's just put this at no wrap. Since I'm using a class, it affects both of them at the same time, so save. Now viewing on the front end, we can see that that is solved. That is solved, ladies and gentlemen. So this is actually it's quite nice. Let's solve this issue we have here with the button. Let's solve this issue we have here with the button. So come over here, click the class. Let's go out of this place. Click the class and give this space here and here. Set it to wrap. Yes, we want it to wrap whenever it gets small enough to wrap. So save and view in the front end. So viewing in the front end, we can see that this issue is solved. The issue of the button is solved. So this is it, guys. I think we did very well overall. Is there anything else missing? Okay, just for fun, why don't I do the header? Okay, so let's do the header. I'm going to add my section container. Put this right above, and this should be our header. Now, your header is not supposed to have a section tag, so let's just convert this back to a div. But I still want it to have. Now, I won't use class. Should I use class? Oh, god damn it. So this should be the wrapper. Like I said, you don't want it to be a section, you want it to be a regular div, but I still want that div to be 100 VW, to be 100 V. viewport width, and I want it to center aligned. Now the container, I want the container to be as wide as the hero section, not the regular sections in this body. So we're going to come over here. First of all, let's add our Skillshare header. I'm just going to call it Skillshare header. No need for the wrapper. Skillshare header. Now, give this a width of 100% and a maximum width of 1920. Okay, now that's good. That's good. All right. Now this background here. Okay. From the Skillshare homepage, there we have that this has a height of 80 rem. Sorry, 8 rem, not 80 rem. You don't want your header to be humongous. All right, and the wrapper. Sorry, the container has the background. With a dark shade. No, it is actually black, but slightly transparent. Let me just say 0.8, 80% transparent. And the next color is pure transparency. I believe this is how the header is. Now, let me just make this position absolute, and I want it to be absolutely positioned to the main section here because that's the way overlay headers work. Now it has gone right behind that, so right behind the hero section. That's easy enough to fix with z index of 1, and it has come up. Excellent. So go back to this right here, and what do we have here? We have two divs, one div here, one div here, and they have a space between them. So go into your section container, add two divs, and I'm going to give this container a flex direction of row and space between. Awesome. Now inside this div, I'm going to add normally I would use SVG elements, but I want to use a text simply because I do not want to download and put in the Skillshare logo in my WordPress database. I want to keep it as clean as possible. If you observe from the beginning of this tutorial, I did not download and I did not upload any of these images to my WP database simply because of this tutorial. So I'm just using a text element to put in the SVG code. So let me copy the SVG code and impute it here. Awesome. So what else do we need in the div? We also need a drop down elements. Great. Now this div should be display flex direction of row. It needs to have a space of m. Let me give it a space of m. I mean, why not? And should be center. That's good. Also, this container should also be center aligned. That's good. Now this text should say browse and it should be bold and white. Right? Right. What else do we have here? Sorry, this is the front end view. What else do we have here? Browse, sign in. Okay, so this is just simply two buttons, I think. Mm, delete this, duplicate this, and delete the items inside. So I think I have two buttons here, but I'll add one, style it, and then do what I need to do. So let's do the sign up button first of all. Okay, you should have a background of this. Typography should be bold. Typography should be this color, and border. All right, guys, we're making progress. Duplicate this, and this should say sign in instead of sign up, and it should have an icon. um okay, this should work. And it is at the left. As it is 5 pixels of space, there is no background. Or no, not no background, it has a transparent background, and the typography is white. Awesome, awesome. Please save. Oh yeah, padding. So let's give this container padding on the left side of M, opposite linked. So padding of M and padding of XS. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Just because I'm a perfectionist, let's fix up the header to work well on tablet mode, just the way this one works. Okay, so at 8:99 we have this. It switches back to a standard header. So let's do that here. All we need to do is remove the position absolutes and change it back to position static. Okay, now fix the background issue by coming here and giving this a background of this. Um, okay, so what else is different here? Okay, the logo is in the center and one button is hidden. We have two new icons here. That's not difficult. So this here should have display none right here. So let's just go here, display none, and this right here should also have display none, and this right here, since the space between, we can just duplicate, and we know that it's going to be there, and we can delete these two, and inside this div we add our icons. There are two icons. Let's add the first one first on style. So adding the first icon, I think we have something that looks like what we need right here. Yeah, pretty close, pretty close, pretty close. Typography, let's make this L or XL. Okay, good. Make this white. This is good enough for me. And we can duplicate. And the second icon should be a search. All right, guys, I think this is perfect. This is perfect, perfectly responsive across all breakpoints. We're going to view this on the front end now. Oh yes, this needs to be displaying on. This needs to be displaying on. Yeah, great. And display flex here. Awesome. So displaying on here, display flex here. We're done. We're done. Let's view this on the front end. This is our replica versus the original right here. So original is right here and our replica is right here. Tell me, can you even spot the difference? I think this is pretty good. Let's test out the responsiveness of what we replicated and see right from the hero section. Sorry, let me zoom out a bit. So right from this, it is perfectly responsive. Okay, it gets responsive even to the tablet mode and to mobile and everything is going. So guys, tell me if you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful in any way, if you learned something new, I'll be happy to hear all of that. And I'll see you in the next one if there is a next one. Okay, thank you and have a great day.